is all three of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book.
I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that the Great Replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform?
And the smug, condescending way that he just spews this poison out is very, very dangerous. Yeah. And I was shaking listening to him talk, because a lot of people don't know that is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth.
If you judge someone based on who hates them, nothing validates your stance more than making the imbeciles on CNN tremble in their trousers. Because let's be clear, the concept of replacing a population with another may have bigoted beginnings, but it's basically what the Democrats have been campaigning on for decades, which is actually pretty revealing. As before he was President Damon Shaw, he had said this.
And the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. An unrelenting stream of immigration, non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017 will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America.
And as he won the election, he immediately went into action.
I would in fact make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are.
With 3 years into basically wide open borders that are so porous that people can just pass right through, and when they do get stopped, apparently the military is there just to let them through.
Morning in the last 24 hours, Border Patrol alone has made more than 10,000 apprehensions. It's pushing through a breach in the border wall that had been cut through by smugglers. This happened right in front of Border Patrol. All these people came spilling through the wall. Then a human smuggler looks at our camera, gives us a shrug, and salutes us. Well,
but what's even more alarming is apparently in Arizona, the sheriff states that we are giving them a phone, a plane ticket, and a $5,000 gift card, which is in stark contrast to the measly $700 that Americans in Maui may receive if your entire community burns to the ground. And the most bizarre aspect of all of this is if you try to research what's happening there, Alphabet tells you to come back later for the results. But what's even more strange is some migrants are going all the way up to Malibu, California, and tiny little panga boats. Keeping in mind, these apparently can just get up to 44 miles per hour, and the trek from the border to Malibu is over 160 miles. I just don't think you pass up a couple free G's, and I mean both the free phone and the taxpayer cash, but also make the trip much more treacherous unless these are the exact people that we don't want here. But why exactly is the left so adamant about letting this happen? Could it possibly be for cheap labor and even cheaper votes?
Is to allow for work authorizations so that the folks in here can get to work.
And AOC isn't the only one pushing this.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants.
So see how this went from spooky right-wing theory that's mean towards immigrants like me, that makes news personalities quiver in front of their TV, to no, this is something they've actually taken into heavy consideration, because aside from labor and votes, population collapse is an actual danger to society. And on Chinese-run TikTok, apparently the algorithm is pushing this wave of dinks.
We're dinks. We don't have to ask our family for financial help or to watch our kid when we want to go out.
We're dinks. We're gonna go to Costco and buy all the snacks in bulk that we want.
Why is nobody talking about being dinks? Well, I'm freshly married and I'm gonna talk about it. You cannot tell me that grocery shopping and a fresh slice of Costco pizza isn't a good date night.
We're dinks. We're gonna go to Costco and buy all the snacks we want.
They're gonna assume that we're just obsessed with material things, even though arguably you need a lot more material things once you have kids.
We're dinks. We're gonna have lots of disposable income to spend on whatever we like.
So dual income, no kids, or dinks, is how I've lived most of my adult life, and it does have its advantages, but it's not necessarily something that I flex or try to encourage others to join me in some peculiar coping mechanism. So what I'm most curious about is why likely our greatest rival on a global scale is pushing their youths to have as many kids as possible, meanwhile trending to our youths, hey, look at this hedonistic lifestyle, you get to go to Costco a lot. because at the end of the day, I'm thinking the migration mess may actually be based on the military.
If you're an undocumented person in this country and you can pass the physical and the required test, background test, the like, you can serve in our military, and if you do it honorably, we will make you citizens of the United States. Do we need that? Do you know what the recruiting numbers are at the Army and the Navy and the Air Force? Should we give them the chance? I think we should.
As we've covered recently the sad status of our armed forces recruiting numbers that has somehow gotten sadder. So our dystopian nightmare went straight into the Starship Troopers timeline. So if immigrants truly want to become Americans through the military, I can kinda see the Democrat mentality, but isn't this basically the same decree that brought the Roman Empire to its knees? But at the end of the day, we may not have a choice, as Biden is desperately getting us into a World War III.
Then we'll have something that we don't seek and that we don't have today. American troops fighting Russian troops. American troops fighting Russian troops.
As apparently the Russian military is increasing their ranks again. So it's just insane to me that if you just heard CNN's views with their shoe-sized IQs, you'd think Vivek is a spooky fascist. But in what, 3 minutes of your time, I could show you that this is not only likely happening, but it's what they've been actively working towards for decades. But if you bring that up in a debate, you're somehow xenophobic. Yes, according to CNN, that guy and this guy are considered Nazis in 2023. Because America being a melting pot is an amazing thing. I'm sure me and you don't look much alike, but if you made it this far in the video, we likely both share some pretty strong American values. And at the end of the day, I think that's what's most important to the average citizen. I'm just curious about the average liberal voter that doesn't know why they're a Democrat beyond that's what LeBron James and Taylor Swift tell them to do. But what would they think if their party's policies bring in a majority population of ultra-conservative citizens whose views are vastly incompatible with modern American liberalism? I just think of a place like San Francisco that is known for their deep blue values. Well, apparently they just replaced the American flag with a flag from a place that is not known to tolerate San Francisco society. And this isn't the only place that this is happening, as even Ireland is doing the same, right after they had riots in their streets over crime and immigration. As Ireland as you know it may be a relic of the past.
Can you guess what the most popular boy's name was in Galway in 2022?
No idea. Tommy?
I'd say it's probably Connor.
Jack? Jack?
Jack.
According to the CSO in 2022, the most popular boy's name in Galway was Mohammed.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wow.
It was Mohammed.
Okay.
Okay.
In Ireland? Well, that's crazy, yeah.
So some may see this chart of cities in the UK drastically change their demographics in just half a decade. They may be alarmed, they may be concerned, or even angry. I'm not saying it's awful, and I'm not saying it's amazing. I'm just saying that it's obviously happening and actually part of one political party's plan. So it's just pretty suspicious when they start calling Vivek a Nazi for doing nothing more than noticing it. And if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how race grifting in sports journalism is finally blowing up in their faces.